Monster RX93.1 presents Heard on Thursdays. Hot conversations on hot topics. Your host, Nikki Porter.
Hey, good evening, monsters, and welcome to the show that made Philippine FM radio talk. Heard on Thursdays on the Monster. I'm your host this evening, Nikki Porter. Tonight, we're going to talk about one of the most important, but also one of the most fun aspects of dating, and that's flirting. Yeah, so for some, it's effortless, almost as if they've been playing cat and mouse their entire lives, but for others, not so much. But don't fret, the art of flirting can actually be learned. Enter tonight's guest. People call her DANI B, or she likes to be called DANI B, more known on TikTok as the Landi Tip Girl, an influencer who produces entertaining and educational content to young and young at heart audiences alike on how to navigate the modern flirting and dating scene responsibly. She was a recent magna cum laude BA Speech Communication graduate from UPD and was a part of Candy Magazine's Next Big Thing for the country's #1 teen magazine September cover. Currently, she has her own podcast called Landi and with DANI and is getting more and more followers across different social media platforms, most notably on TikTok with 230,000 followers. Heard on Thursdays, let's welcome to the show content creator and podcast host, DANI B.
Hi, Nikki.
Nice to meet you,
Hi,
DANI. Thank you very much for joining us on the show,
Of
DANI.
course.
And I know it's very late. You don't have school na naman. You graduated. You're good.
Thankfully.
You're good. You're good. Okay. So I just want to get right into it, no?
Mhm.
Like, this is coming from a millennial
Yeah.
perspective, right? So what do you think, though? There are a lot of challenges in the dating scene, but I want to know from the Gen Z perspective,
Mhm.
what are the biggest challenges that you have experienced or have noticed or observed when it comes to dating, especially in a Gen Z pool?
Yeah, I feel like because my thesis also is related to to
Really?
flirting. Yeah, so
Wow.
I've read a lot of studies that say that Gen Zs kind of have like a short attention span, also in dating, because
Wow.
our parang the way we date or flirt nowadays, we have apps, we have social media, Instagram. So if you like the person because you like the person based on the looks, but you get hooked on them or like you fall because of personality, right?
Yeah.
So like when you like a person based on looks, you're gonna stalk them on Instagram, you're gonna see what they're about, you're gonna talk a little bit. But from online, if you don't like them on the onset, you're gonna leave, you're gonna bounce, you're gonna find another option. So I feel like for us, for our generation, it's very fast paced.
Okay, would you say that, like dating apps have also helped in a kind of quickening that whole process? Because it's like, swiping left and right is so quick and easy. The profile, it's like whether there's a profile to read or not, it's like you swipe left or right pa rin. So would you say that has like that had an effect or would influence also the way that Gen Zs date?
Yeah, I feel like yes. I've personally experienced going on dating apps, and unfortunately, I haven't had any luck. But I tried dating apps starting from 2019, like just on and off. But the good thing about it is I encourage my followers to always flirt till they get satisfied, meaning you can flirt and not get into a relationship, and that's okay. Because even if that flirting encounter doesn't result to you being in a relationship, you're still gonna learn.
Yeah.
Even if you get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Even if you get heartbroken somehow, you're still gonna learn from something. So
I will actually agree with that. Now, again, there is, like I mentioned, there is some sort of a gap, sort of.
gap?
No, just in terms of like dating. So, and what you're talking about, like in terms of like online flirting, right? So you would have, well, now we have dating apps. Back then, maybe a decade, not 2 decades ago, a decade and a half ago, let's say.
Huwag mo naman pahalata yung indifferent.
I'm just keeping it real.
Okay.
No, there were chat rooms, right? Omegle closed down already, but then that was also another way people would just like talk to other people.
Actually.
And then there were other chat rooms that are, I'm not saying it's sketchy, but it is a little bit sketchier than Omegle.
But you've tried it.
I've tried it. And actually, that's where I learned. I know this is a terrible thing to open up about on air. But this, and like, I told myself, like, I wanted to learn, because I was such an introvert, a shy kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to learn how to, like, to flirt.
Yeah.
And so, like, flirting with words and with texts and messages, it's so easy. But then doing it in person, it's like, I need liquid courage. Like
I get that.
Yeah. So I think it's still relevant. Like, you know, I think the digital platforms that we have back then and even now have definitely helped in the way of us flirting. So if you guys haven't tried flirting online on those dating apps, I feel like
it's a training ground, I feel like.
Yeah, it's
when it comes to communicating.
And I feel like you should I think one of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten is, like, try and let go of the outcome when you're just getting to know someone. It's like you don't have to put so much pressure on getting to know someone na parang ito na.
That's real. That's what I tell my followers. Hindi porket nilalandi mo siya, magiging asawa mo na siya.
Yeah.
You can flirt in, like, very subtle ways and, like, get to know yourself more, get to know your preferences more, and at the same time learn from it. Yeah. And, like, I talked to several friends of mine then na when they tried also dating apps like Omegle to try to communicate, try to learn how, for example, heterosexual relationships, guys communicate with girls. And, like, it went well for one of my friends because she tried Bumble, but then she ended up, like, having a good conversation with a guy in real life.
Nice.
Through, like, using Bumble as her training ground. So.
Nice. There we go. So use them as training grounds. You never know where it'll take you, but at the very least, get in there to learn something. To learn the dating pool, the dating scene. So I want to know, though, what prompted you then? Because it's almost like the first of its kind here that I've seen na Landi tips, diba? So what prompted you to start posting about Landi tips? What is the story behind that?
Yeah, okay, so generally growing up, I admit it naman, I'm a very flirty girl. Okay. But, like, I'm the type of friend who always gives advice, pero pag ako na yung nasa situation,
hindi mo gagawin.
Like, natatameme ako. Like, I get, like, speechless, most especially if I really, really, really like the guy, and parang, oh my gosh, ang pogi niya. I get speechless. But, like, during the pandemic, I kind of tried doing YouTube, like doing vlogs, sit-down vlogs. And I made this video about sending a form to my previous crushes to ask them about if they like me back, what they thought of me.
You sent a form?
Yeah, I did. I did. And apparently a lot of my friends and family really like that content. So when I started doing TikToks, I thought, what type of content did I put out on YouTube that made my, like, inner circle happy? So that was related to Landi. Then just one night, because spur of the moment, I was about to sleep. Then I thought, Landi tip, blah, 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 blah. Like, my first Landi tip was eye contact. Never stop staring at them until they stare back at you. Medyo creepy siya if gagawin mo. Pero a lot
from an outsider's perspective, if they're not looking at you, I know.
Yeah. Pero like, the next day, it gained like 100 likes. So I thought, why not post Landi tips every day? So I did like 5 Landi tips every day. Hindi ko rin alam.
You did 5 Landi tips a day?
A day for 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, until now?
No, but like for those 2 weeks, I think I gained already like 30,000 followers on TikTok. I mean, it's easy to gain followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
But I thought, okay, ituloy-tuloy na natin to. So yeah, it's going good naman so far. And I really love talking about flirting.
Yeah, I mean, especially in our culture, no? It's like, I feel like we, on the outside, we're shy and whatever, at least from like an outsider's perspective once again. But then, like, deep down, we have inner Landi, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just admit that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we want to like figure out ways on how to do that without coming on too strong,
Yeah.
without like letting ourselves like get carried away in our how we feel about particular someone. So like, so where do you get, because okay, you posted like five tips a day for 2 weeks, and then you're still posting Landi tips. Where do you get all of your tips? Because meron eh.
Yeah. I mean, I think I started with me recalling my previous Landi interactions. So parang hinimay-himay ko siya. Instead of like doing one TikTok with like 5 tips, I make 5 TikToks.
Yeah.
Parang ganon. So, kaya tuloy-tuloy siya. And right now, actually, those tips don't come from me na solely because I think a lot of people treat my TikTok videos as like their safe space, kind of. So whenever I go out, for example, at pop-up Katipunan to like party with my friends, a few people go to me and they're like, "Are you Dani B?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they're gonna make kwento talaga na parang, "This happened to me, ganyan-ganyan." Yung parang stuff na dapat sa best friend mo lang kinikwento. Nakwento na nila sa akin. So, those interactions, I feel like, on the spot, bigla ko naisip, okay, that's a Landi tip. So, I'm gonna put my phone out and type the Landi tip on my phone. Kaya ngayon, may notes ako na super daming Landi
for
tips.
that. Oh my gosh.
So, I think it's very fun.
And I think it's really cool that like people approach you talaga and then will talk to you, and then but did you also get like maybe prompts or comments on your videos? Like, can you do one about this or that?
A lot actually. They even email me or send me DMs. and I
so
think,
talaga malaman.
yeah, and like, I'm so sorry because a lot of you guys I haven't replied to yet, but yeah, I sometimes get ideas from those questions also because most of the time meron din silang commonalities on like their questions and stuff.
So I mean, so with the videos that you've been posting, you mentioned in one that you've been single for a while now. So for the sake of this conversation, how long have you been single?
Secret chart.
But in range if you want.
4 years, pero not counting the pandemic, 2. 2 years.
Ganon. Okay.
Yeah. But like, ever since my first relationship, I actually realized that it's very fun being single.
Okay.
Like when you come from a long-term relationship, because my ex-relationship was like 2 years.
Okay.
Then after we broke up, I realized, my gosh, ang saya pala maging single. Ang saya maging malanda.
In your 20s, I would say so.
Yeah. So like, I'm kind of rolling with it. Like recently, I had this mindset, I really, really want to find the one na. But like, I got tired of it because every time I go out of the house, inisip ko, what if mahanap ko na yung the one? What if? So I'm gonna very like get into my head so much. I'm gonna mentally prepare myself kasi baka andyan na siya, baka makasabay ka sa elevator, sa escalator, sa mall or something. But like na-realize ko recently na I'm just gonna wait for it to happen. Kaya nagkaroon din ako ng goal na travel muna ako. Then per city, dapat may isang kalantian.
No, that's actually it's not a bad idea. Right? Because it's like once you get over that, that bump of like, because it's one thing, okay, if you're gonna be traveling, diba? If you're going to be if you're going into another country, it's like culturally there are very different ways of how people approach someone that they're dating. So by the time you come home, maybe when you're done traveling, it's like who are you? And you have to be like you will exude like a certain confidence about yourself. Speaking from experience.
Have you tried it? Flirting.
Have I tried flirting like abroad?
Yeah.
Of course.
Good job.
Of course you have to, because it's really I mean, for one thing, you're still young, right? And then for another, it's also to build your confidence. It's like there are going to be some parts of the world where you might think that you're maybe a 5 or a 6. In another country, you're a 10.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like you like really have to carry that, and it's just like once you get a taste of it, it's like you're not gonna want to get rid of that. Yeah, it really is. Enough about me. So, anyway, okay. So, have you been, so you've been dating though, like you've been enjoying
Yeah,
the man, okay. And so have you actually mentioned like on dates now, oh, by the way, I also have like a TikTok account like Landi?
This is the weird thing. Like when I went to Bumble, because I feel like I didn't use Bumble for like a year. So like when I went back and I already had my TikTok, whenever I message guys, some guys are like, "Are you the Lindy tip girl?" I'm like, "Okay, unmatch." I don't want them because my first interactions with guys who knew or were able to watch my Lindy tips, I had this one interaction. Um, I agreed to go out on a date because I have a mindset now that when we talk for I say a week online, I would want to like go out on a date with you in real life because as you said a while ago, sometimes we're good at flirting online, but when we meet each other in person, it's like a different dynamic.
Right.
So I don't want to waste any time. So after 1 week of like talking to each other online, I prefer to meet in real life. But then when we saw each other in real life, parang siyang nag-review for midterms or like finals. As in, may gagawin ako. I'm gonna say something. For example, I'm gonna call him bro. Like an expression. So, bigla niya sinabi, so, friend zone mo na ako. Sabi, what? That's an expression. Sabi niya, but you said in your Landi tip that you shouldn't call the person that you like bro. I'm like, okay, first turn off. But like, later on, he said, di ba sabi mo, hold your biceps sa landitas? Parang, why aren't you holding my bicep? I'm like,
oh, wow.
Can you like, calm down? Bakit parang feeling ko teacher ako, student ka, tapos pinipilit mo maka-perfect grade. So like, I was turn off talaga. So after that, whenever guys tell me that they see my Landi tips, I'm like, man, bye.
So how do you mitigate that then? Na parang, okay, you have this TikTok account about Landi tips. How do you approach that now in dating now that you feel like it is kind of hindering you from trying to get the connection that you want?
I don't know. Parang, okay, if they know me from TikTok, I kind of like tell them upfront na please tell me you didn't review. Kasi I'm gonna make kwento about the guy. It's matatawa lang sila. So the date will go like smoothly naman. And like, I usually don't tell them that I have a TikTok platform if they don't know me. So that I kind of like have a mystery.
Yeah,
May
I get that.
So, ayun, parang it's more fun if they don't know me as the Landi tip girl. Because they kind of have like too much expectations.
Yeah.
If they see my platform, if they see my Landi tips.
And I feel like in addition to that, you'll know that it's like the person is like a good egg if they do know that you have a TikTok account and it doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. If you're out there.
It's true because what
yeah.
she does, okay, what DANI does like in her own time is totally hers, like you know, and for her to create a platform that also helps people, like I feel like that is something that parang Travis Kelce lang be proud of. He'll be proud of, like, you know, Taylor Swift writes songs about her ex and Travis Kelce is singing along to said songs. Come on.
I love their dynamic.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, if like for you, DANI, I feel like that would be like a great kind of what do you call this? Pairing, I think. The parang, kasi I understand how it would be, what do you call this? It can be tricky and parang, are you talking about me and this Landi tip or something? I feel like that's a fear that I think some guys might have also.
Some guys, nagpaparinig sila. Sabi nila, when mo ko ilalagay sa Landi tip? I'm like,
what?
Boy, calm down. Recently niya lang sinabi, oh my gosh, baka nanonood siya. But yeah, calm down. O, diba na-bring up na kita? Ito yun.
Ayun, but then it was not in a good way. So I'm
sorry.
Just kidding. Okay, so your mom and sister probably listening also there, and I want to know how that conversation went down with your mom, siguro. Like as soon as you found out your account was growing by the thousands in every post, but it was about Landi tips.
Yeah.
So how did that conversation go?
I'm very lucky that I belong in a family who has Landi in their genes. So even before I made that Landi tip, all my titas, my lolas, my mom kept on pushing me. go out there, flirt with guys, get a boyfriend. Now that I'm graduate, my parents are like, kailan ka na magkakaanak? Gusto na namin na apo. I'm like, chill. And like, I don't know, the topic of Landa is we're very open about it in the family because I think my mom
Interesting.
grew up not being able to share with her parents that may mga manliligaw siya, people send her flowers and chocolates. So now I feel like my mom and my dad made it a point that we make them our best friends. So umabot sa point na my bunsong sister, she's in grade 12 right now. Nakokonsensya siya kapag hindi niya nakikwento yung landescapades niya sa parents namin. So I think that's somehow, yeah, that's a great upbringing because we become open to our parents. And my parents just always remind me that if I want to actually pursue this genre, like this niche, I should kind of be like a more motivational person, not parang still keeping my values intact and like educating them and motivating my viewers in a sense. Kasi nga, it's a very taboo topic then here in the Philippines. And like right now nga, I choose not to touch on other aspects of Lande.
Yeah.
Like being intimate, very intimate and stuff because I do have audiences na minors. So I feel like I just want to like use this niche kahit napatanda ako or like as I grow older para mag-evolve din siya. Parang Taylor Swift, she grew up with her followers.
For album.
With her fans. So I feel like I'm treating my niche now as phases in my life now. As phases in my Landi life. So
that's good. And it's a good thing that you pointed out that you do have minor audiences there. But you're taking into consideration. You're not just putting things out there for the sake of putting things out there.
Yeah.
So I love that. At least you have that, what do you call this? Not sensitivity. It's like the awareness of your audience. So I also want to know now, like the Landi tips that you have probably researched on for you to talk about on TikTok. Have you used some of those research, not like tried and tested, and then talked about it as a Landi tip? Like the research ones, have you used them in the field while you've been dating?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I think.
Could you probably like recall one that you probably like, I want to try this if it works?
I think siguro at the top of my head, I always recall my thesis. It's about the 5 flirting styles. So it's like love languages.
Okay.
But like unlike love languages, you can have all love languages, right? Like acts of service.
Right.
But in flirting styles, you can't have all 5. They're like physical, playful, sincere, polite, and traditional. So I think when I knew about the different flirting styles, I was able to apply it, I think unconsciously, whenever I'm flirting in the field, like practicing it. And like, I observe the flirting styles of the people I'm flirting with. Kunyari, they're more of the sincere flirt. So they want to get to know more about me and they also want me to get to know more about them. So I approach that Landi scenario by talking to each other. Like getting to know more, phone calls, like having dates where we, for example, walk around Makati and ask personal questions each other sa isa't isa. Then if the guy is like more of a physical flirt, so that's more on the non-verbals. Touchy, hold the hands, hold the biceps, tanggal ng food dito. Kahit wala namang food, tatanggalin. Kahit di kayo kumakain, tanggalin mo.
Wait, I want to know before you continue with that, what is your opinion on like holding hands like on the first date? If they're touchy-feely, like I don't know, maybe I don't know if you've encountered like someone wanting to hold your hand na like the first date.
I mean, it depends on the comfortability level. Okay. If you guys are already comfortable and you've spoken to each other online and like on call, video calls for a long period of time, I feel like the first date, it's like the next step na. Kasi you developed the connection online. But like if it's a first date in real life, na wala pang connection, I feel like you gotta tread lightly, like test the waters. Not biglang That's like weird.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to know also. No. Because it's just like.
Did it happen to you?
No. But I mean, I have had that experience where it's like you're talking and you're laughing and it's like he was like a physical flirt. Na parang yeah, he grabbed my hand like that one. But it was like a first date.
Okay.
Grabbed my hand, but it's like parang I don't know how to do it. But I was just like weirded out. I was like
the smile.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to like ingat sa mga ganon.
Yeah,
Minsan like, kunyari, walking around the mall, kind of like hold their hand mo na like tuturo kan para, uy, look. Tapos pag yung reaction nila is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So wait, so yeah, you mentioned sincere, physical, and then the other three are
playful is you flirt even if you don't really like the person. You treat flirting as a game. Kaya playful.
That's a player.
Yeah. So parang if you really don't like the person, if you have no intentions of getting into a relationship, it's not a playful flirt. Traditional, you believe that males make the first move rather than the females, even if females like the guy, hindi mag-first move ang females dapat. And polite, you prefer developing a friendship first before actually aggressively flirting.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's when it takes more time.
Yeah. Yun yung parang mga 2 years kayong friends.
Slow burn.
Sobrang slow burn. Ayoko nung ganun. 2 months pa lang, pag friends tayo, tapos wala kang ginawa, di mo ko inaya sa date. Bye. Baka nanonood din
I had a feeling you were referring to someone.
Very specific.
Tumitingin ka sa camera.
Shadow ko nabubuking dito. I mean, that's my personality. So,
that's your brand.
That's my brand. Okay.
Okay. So I think like it's super interesting, like, you know, talking about, you know, Landi and like Landi tips, of course. I asked a Radio 1 student jocks.
Hi guys. I think some of them are my friends.
Yeah. And so I asked them if they had any questions with regard to, you know, Landi tips, especially in like the Gen Z world, Gen Z dating pool. So I hope it's okay to ask you these questions. So the first one that I have here is, how do you deal with feeling insecure when the person you're talking to is more experienced in relationships, or like, in other words, they've had more boyfriend, girlfriend before you?
Yeah. I've experienced that also, na parang ramdam ko talaga na magaling na siya mag-flirt. And I'm like the extroverted type before. Ngayon kasi ambivert now because of the pandemic. But now, before, I was like an extrovert. So, gulat na gulat ako. Like, I didn't know how to act. Kasi siya yung mas experienced. But then, I feel like you gotta realize it, embrace it na parang hindi ka pa magaling. So, you let them take the lead.
Yeah.
Let them take the lead. Huwag mo ipilit yung hindi mo naman kaya. That's one of the tips also that I gave, that you have to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses whenever you're flirting. Like your capabilities, your skills. So that alam mo kung ano yung Landi tactics na iiwasan mo, because you know that they're your weakness. For example, you don't know how to sing naman. Huwag ka magsisend ng voice message na kumakanta. Nakaka-turn off yun. So like, if you're good at like arts or painting, drawing, that's how like you craft something like a symbolism of them or like their picture. That's a strength. But yung kanta, wag yun. Parang ganon. So like, if you're insecure at the onset, kinda, yun nga, let them take the lead, test the waters, but if you're uncomfortable, huwag mo ipilit.
Yeah.
Kasi, okay, you're flirting nga to know your preferences, to know what treatment you like.
Yeah.
So, huwag mo ipilit. Kahit na puging-pugi ka doon, huwag mo ipilit.
And it's okay to set the boundary.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're uncomfortable with the level of flirting that they have, I feel like that's your advantage if you can set a boundary. Na parang bigla na lang siguro this guy or girl would be like, oh, like, you, like, oh, I, like, thank you for telling me about that. I don't know how, like, I feel some of them would probably be impressed by that. And they might even like it. I don't know. But that you're standing up for yourself. Yeah. Another question is, but I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer.
Go.
Why does a month-long situationship hurt more than a long-term relationship?
Oh my gosh. Bakit nga ba? Sure. But, month-long situationship or relationship?
Month-long situationship hurts more than a long-term relationship.
Oh, situationship, number one, because there's no definite, like, it's a label, but it's not like a definite commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of didn't get what you wanted, I think, from that situation.
Yeah.
Compared to like relationships where 1 year, ang dami nyo nang nagawa, ang
Yeah.
dami nyo nang na-experience, you already built a lot of memories. But like, when you grow older nga, like a month feels like a week already. So like, I get that na parang you expected something from this connection, but it got cut short. So I think that's why it hurts more.
Yeah,
What do you
and
think?
I think also situationships allow you to live more in the future than in the present, honestly. Because if it's like
That's
if
nice.
if situationships they like to future plan. You like to future plan if you're in situationships because it's like you're in a situationship,
Yeah.
but you're kind of like hoping, baka one day like this is going to progress into something more.
That's real.
So I feel like that's why it hurts more because you have to let go of all the things that you had planned in your head that you were hoping to happen.
You're a hopeless romantic.
I am, but I am trying to balance
get
it
that.
out.
I get that.
Okay, next question. For introverts man, sabi mo ambivert ka na, no? So how do you meet someone organically if you don't go out much?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, yun yung pinaka-nahirapan akong bigyan ng tip. Because I knew how to flirt talaga in real life. Because there was a phase na I was always out. I was always communicating with other people. So it's very hard if yung mindset mo is yung tadhana. Ganon.
Yeah,
it's
true.
very hard. Lalo na if you really want to get into a relationship. Tapos you want to meet organically. Tapos hindi ka naman lumalabas. Like, don't leave it up to like destiny or something. You have to also do something for destiny to happen. Parang sometimes destiny is just there.
Yeah.
It's just waiting for you to like take the step towards it. Parang ganon.
Hopeless romantic.
Kaya nga na-detect ko sa'yo eh. Karas tayo.
No, I think, and also to add to that, it's like, I think one way, if you don't like to go out that much, make it known in your circle na parang, hey, I want to meet someone. Because it's like, especially when you have that, they'll vet this person for you instead of meeting someone randomly at a bar or something. I feel like it's a lot safer, especially if you're an introvert and don't go out much and
That's
probably
true.
don't date much also.
That's smart. Landi tip.
Ngayon. We're creating Landi tips on the fly.
may midterms mamaya.
Next question is, okay, how do you subtly tell or show someone that you're interested in them? And then like the follow-up to that is basically, what are the subtle signs that someone is interested in you?
I think one of my favorite Landi tips that I gave is to treat them in a special way compared to other people. For example, you're in the same group of friends. You treat everybody normal lang. Tapos parang one day, biglang show them special treatment. But don't tell them that I like you. That's how you can subtly show it. Parang, for example, magbababay na. Best of everybody, ihuli mo siya. Tapos, a light hug with a beso. Like, subtle ways. Ano ba? Yun kasi yung mga nagawa ko na. Yeah, hindi kasi yung subtle.
Subtle. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, how can you because again, like with me, it's hard to meet. I don't really meet people organically, so it's like, if I would try and find a way to sit next to that person or stand next to that person, be in closer proximity with that person, and even if parang may kilala sila, parang they'll always kind of find their way back to you or something and want to talk to you pa. I think, I don't know if that's subtle nga eh, because I feel like it's like pabalik-balik ka sa kanya, so it's like, I feel like it's more obvious. But anyway, there is an attention given to you, at least. I feel like that's one way. What about Landi tips for girlies who don't want to make the first move. So traditional flirt, but they're actually interested in one person and they want something to happen.
Oh, eye contact.
I
Like
can't.
every time, look at them. Just parang, when they ask you, are you looking at me? Yeah, admit it. Can admit it. But like, I think eye contact is really effective. I don't think a lot of people realize it and notice it, the power of eye contact. But I think that's one of the most powerful tips one can do.
Are
Just
you
look
good at
the-
eye contact?
I'm trying to be. Kasi meron akong 2 dates before. It's so good. Yung connection namin is so good online. We call, we video call. But then when we went on the first date, yun pa yung mga times na mahiyain ako.
Yeah.
So like during the first date, I kind of like engage in the conversation, but I look elsewhere. Kasi
Yeah.
kinakabahan ako.
Yeah.
But like tuloy-tuloy ako magsalita. But after that, parang di na ako kinausap pareha. So I think that's one of the main factors.
Wow.
You have to like tell the person na, okay, I'm just looking straight into your soul.
Yeah, and I understand that eye contact, it's like literally like so many dating coaches will recommend it. Like there's also the triangular look thing. It basically you look from the right eye, then left eye, then down to the lips, then back up to the right eye. So that's a triangular way of looking. It kind of, that's how you subtly show someone that you kind of want to kiss him also. I'm just saying.
Just put lip gloss, lip
Ayun.
liner. Di ba? Para,
Yeah. Pero I will say eye contact also my challenge. That's my
Diba?
that's my learning curve talaga.
Diba?
Because I can talk so much but then I cannot keep eye contact. Because
Lalo
sometimes
na
I
pag
feel like
pogi.
yeah, I feel, especially if they're smiling at you. It's like, stop it. Stop. Ay nako. Anyway, gusto ko mag-date.
Tama.
Diba? For practice. Anyway. Okay. So another question that we have here. How do you, this is actually important. How do you respectfully imply that your niceness does not equate to flirting? So what's like a boundary of being nice to that's actually like emotional cheating or something?
That's hard.
Or actually, sige, let's separate the question. How do you make it known? Or how do you address it na lang that, you know, you being nice is not the same as flirting? Because some people will read that wrong.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of terminologies na pwede mong gamitin for a friend. So I feel like dikin mo na lang na parang bro, dude, sis, te. Gamitin mo lahat. Parang, okay, I'm friendly, but I don't look at you that way. Parang ganon. And at the same time, I feel like if the person already interpreted it as you liking them, the easiest way is to just confront them with it. Talk about it na parang, it's hard nga eh, if you confront.
Yun nga eh. So it's like, how do you do that without like liquid courage for another thing? If like if you're like really close friends also bigla. I feel like that's a challenge.
Have you experienced it?
No. No, it's like like I've
hindi
heard
ako friendly.
Hindi ka friendly.
Like hindi kasi ako plastic. So if I don't like you, you're gonna see it. I'm gonna try my best not to show it to you, but you're gonna see it. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm about similar. It's like I've known of like guys who would have crushes on me, but I have no interest in them. And so I would not like, I don't do anything about it. I say thank you, I appreciate that. Pero like no.
It's hard nga, no?
It's hard.
It, lalo na kapag you're very nice.
But I feel like when it reaches a toll or like when they decide to make a move or something, you really have to put your foot down and say, I don't see you like that. I feel like we're better off as friends kind of thing, which is heartbreaking, of course. But then
better to like peel off the band-aid at the start kesa ano siya, humaba yung connection, humaba yung pag-aasa.
And to not make yourself uncomfortable. Because like, think about you, like in the long term. Do you want to keep this up even if you know this person likes you when you're only being friendly with this person? So it's just it's something that you have to consider for yourself, and you not have to think about what the other person thinks, but you have to tell them. You just have to tell them about it. Okay, what else do we have here? So radio ones, I actually had a bunch of questions. So, how can you tell when someone actually likes you and that it's not just infatuation?
Ah, ang hirap ng tanong niyo. Mag-coffee na lang tayo. Mag-ano tayo, parang consolidated answers. But like, paano nga ba? It's not just infatuation. I feel like effort is there, time is there. If they really actually show you, kahit hindi aggressive lande.
Yeah.
But it's always the thought that counts. If they always, let's say, find time to talk to you kahit na busy yung schedule nila.
Yeah.
And like, when, paano ba? Infatuation kasi and love is like, there's like a thin line. Tama ba?
Yeah, I would say so. And I feel like the way that I've read somewhere na parang the way that you say I love you in the beginning eventually grows over time. So it's like sometimes you can say I love you while you're infatuated but then it will grow over time and still mean it, but then you'll mean it in a deeper way the more you get to know someone. So if it's like I feel like I think in fact I like what you mentioned, but like the effort is there. Hindi lang kayo talking stage.
Yeah.
Ganon. Magde-date talaga kayo, lalabas
Yeah.
talaga kayo.
And like they'll make an effort to really get to know you and
Yeah.
try to like incorporate your lives with each other. something like
Yeah, diba? Like introduce you to their
Yeah.
friends and family, I guess. So that's how you know. Do you agree na if they introduce you to their family
that.
or to their friends first, is that a big deal?
I've heard stories from other girls na parang it's a common thing for the guy to
Oh,
introduce
okay.
their girls to their friends kahit na hindi naman nila love actually, kahit situationship
Oo.
pa yan. So I feel like the big thing here is the family part. I'm a family-oriented person. So if the guy actually shows my family that he's doing the effort and he wants to get to know my family, I'm like, oh my gosh, are you sure? Kasalan levels na to. hindi ka
No
makakatas
backseas.
dito. Oo. Tapos parang, I think, let's go back to the question. Para, if you're the person who's falling in love, I do believe that when you already don't have a definite, like, definition of love, that's when you know that you're in love.
When you don't have a definite definition of love.
Parang, what's love for you? Or like, why do you love this person? Hindi mo mapunto kung bakit nga ba. I think that's one other, I don't know. Nakalimutan ko na my love. Hindi ako ngayon. But yeah, I think. Parang kasi, when it comes to love songs, di ba, iba-iba sila ng ways to articulate the feeling of love. So I feel like, if you can't say na, I love him because may effort siya. Pag nasabi mo agad, I think it's infatuation. But when hindi mo na masabi, kasi sobrang daming things about the person that you love.
Yeah. And and to add to that also, I feel like kasi parang love as a feeling, it's something, again, it's very nuanced. People don't, like, there's no right way of defining it. So that's why I have subscribed to the idea that love is a choice. So how that shows up is like, I'm having a bad day, but I'm gonna choose to be with this person. Or I know I'm having like such a great day, but I'm choosing to hear this person out and why they're having a bad day, kind of thing. Parang ganon. So it's like, that's how you know the difference. I feel like we kind of went on a tangent in our question. But yeah, like that's how you can differentiate. If you choose to be with the person in spite of the difficulty or the challenge, then I feel like you're pretty much there.
Yeah. Aww. Tamis.
Tamis! Ganon. Okay, so we are nearing the end of the questions of our dear student jock. So is it a red flag if they have more friends of the opposite sex?
I don't think so.
It's not. Is it a red flag if you see a guy's follower count and it's mostly girls? Yes. Okay.
Kasi sometimes may kita mo palang sa icon na parang, sketchy. Kasi kahit crush ko palang yung guy, tingnan ko yung follower, fina-follow niya, parang, Parang sketchy.
Yeah, and which is so interesting. Like that's how we manipulate social media now in terms of how we date and get to know somebody. We get to know somebody between the lines that way by looking at their follower and following.
Yeah.
And but sometimes it really does open your eyes a little bit more about somebody. Na parang you think that they're sweet on the outside,
Yeah.
but they're sweet with everybody else. On
Oh my gosh. Red flag.
I'm not trying to.
joke.
I'm not trying to. They're looking at the follower.
Huli ka.
You know. You know. Well, okay. So not a red flag though if they have more friends of the opposite sex. Okay. So how do you know naman? Somebody asked, how do I know if I'm loving too much and might scare my partner away?
Oh my gosh, that's kind of hard. But I do believe that in situation or like in connections in relationships, partner, so jowa niya na.
Mm.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's me. I'm very clingy kasi. But like, I think the easiest way you can address it is like to communicate. Most especially if you're in a relationship. Like, am I being too much already? Just let me know. Or like, you just have to observe siguro how they're treating your relationship and kind of, if you can, mirror how they treat you. Tama ba yun? Parang,
yeah.
kinda, not in every situation.
Yeah.
But, paano nga ba? Kasi that's a challenge I'm like trying to learn.
I think this is
I love too much.
It's a good topic to talk about. Like parang referring to loving too much. Kasi for me, I have always been it's kind of a buzzword when someone says like too much of something. And I always believe na parang you're not really being too much for someone. It's just like if someone mentions that you are being too much, it's not that's not the person that you want to be with.
Yeah.
Because it's
actually.
like you can communicate it in a healthier way. Na parang, that I love you and it's like and I really want to be there for you and blah 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 and all of these things, and they understand where it is that you're coming from. Partners na kayo, diba?
Yeah.
So it's like you have to have that level of understanding.
Gets pa kung like Landi end stage or situation.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're in a relationship.
Yeah, but at the same time, being called too much, that's a red flag for you to know that you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love the person, it's not too much. Why would a person like not want to receive love?
Yeah, and also another thing that I've learned: if you feel like you're loving too much, then there's I feel like it's, I don't know if you've read this. Apparently, there are different attachment styles. So you're probably a little bit more anxious in the way that you attach to a particular person. So you worry in the way that you come off with this person.
Yeah.
So I think one way for you to kind of look into that is na parang you have know if you are being you'll know if you're being anxious in a relationship if there's a sense of urgency in wanting to know something kaagad.
That's real.
So it's like, so that's when you know you should take a back seat and like chill out, try and self-soothe for some so before you address something and then bigla na lang it becomes this whole thing. Like you need to meditate mo na lang. Siguro. I feel like that could work. Someone once asked, how can I be sure that I'm ready for a relationship? Will you know? I think I want like from a personal standpoint, because you said you're dating right now.
Yeah.
How will you know that you are ready for a relationship, or are you always ready for a relationship?
I'm just waiting for it. I think I am ready when I am at that point where I can already be selfless. Because right now, I think I'm always thinking about myself pa.
Okay.
Because I want to explore more. I want to know my preferences. I want to distinguish kung ano ba for me yung red flags. Kung ano ba for me yung acceptable. So, if it's not all about me, if I'm already considering the feelings of the person, if I'm already considering like what this connection may hold in the future, that's when I know that I'm ready for a relationship. There's this one guy actually, yung parang, nakusip ko siya, he's all green flags to the point na feel ko ako na yung toxic because hinahanapan ko na siya ng red flag. Tapos parang nag-flash forward na sa mind ko na parang, oh my God, am I ready to be in a relationship? So sobrang green flag niya, I'm like, parang ready na. But like the next day, di na siya nag-message. So, hello. I don't think you're watching this, but if you are.
Gusto ko na you really, ini-embody mo talaga para you're really directing whoever this is. Ang dami mong kinakausap.
Sorry. Na-reveal ang pagkalanditis girl ko.
Ay, nako. But anyway, okay. Last few questions. Is there, or does legal culture, do you think, do more good or not? Since a lot of people put their best foot forward in the beginning, make all the effort, and then bigla na lang mawawala na.
I actually gave a tip about that you have to give your best but don't give your all.
Oh.
Kasi when you give your all, that's relationship levels na. Either if you're a guy or a girl or the one making ligo or not, hindi mo dapat ibigay yung all mo. Kasi what if ligo stage pa lang nabigay mo na lahat? Paano pag naging relationship na yan? Ano pa ibibigay mo? Parang ganon. And like, ano ulit yung question?
Like, does legal culture do more good or not?
Yeah. Honestly, kunyari high school levels, I feel like dyan talaga yung very legal talaga. But then, we kind of reach a certain age na legal is more short term kasi relationships right now are more of like an agreement. You like me, I like you, okay, let's date. After several months, you think we can be exclusive, okay, exclusive. But more of an agreement na siya. The legal culture. Yeah.
So, it does more good or not?
Hindi kasi nagot. Sorry. But like, yeah, I think because we're in a culture, may tradition tayo na legal. I feel like necessary pa rin siya. So, with legal kasi, it's like getting to know more about the person.
And also like kind of wooing, diba?
Yeah. Oh, tagal na kasi ako di nililigawan. So, ayun. Yeah, I think it does good talaga. And that shows the person's intentions.
Yeah, I would say so too. Buying flowers or like maybe think of you. That's nice. Even if you feel like at the time it's like gonna cringe at it. Like think of it as like the kind of love language this person is displaying that they know best and they're giving it to you.
I feel like a lot of people underestimate the power of flowers.
Yeah.
Diba?
Right?
I have this friend, ano ko siya, guy best friend ko siya. Instead of bringing the girl flowers sa first day na naligo siya sa bahay, dinala niya na sako ng bigas. I mean, okay, that's very practical. But still give her flowers.
Yeah.
Flowers, like, it's a different, it holds a different meaning, a different symbolism. Parang, just because flowers.
Feel ko sako ng bigas would be third date na nga eh. I'm just saying, it's like for you and your family or something.
Ibang level yun. Proud ako sa kanya kasi we're thinking practical. And plus point sa family ng girl. So,
ayun. Okay.
So, tip, magdala ka ng sako ng bigas sa bahay nila. Tito, tita, bigas for you.
Yun. Best foot forward sa parents, actually. Okay. So, last one is, how can a person who prefers not to rush things navigate through fast-paced dating conventions in the present?
Oh my gosh. Not to rush things. I feel like dun mag-a-apply yung when you flirt with a person, don't think that they're for a relationship na. Because yun nga, we're in a fast-paced culture. So if you're the type of person na parang ayaw mo to rush into things, don't like lock in on that one person on the first encounter pa lang. Because I think ikaw yung talo doon. I think. Ikaw ba? No, wala lang brain cells. Naisip ko na. Okay.
Well, I mean, I think with what you're saying, it's like the reason why people lock in very quickly is because they focus on just one person kaagad. As soon as you have like, oh my God, I like talking to this person. Talking stage pa lang yan.
Yeah.
So it's like...
That's the wrong thing, I think. Parang, when we like the person, masyado ka nang nag-fast forward.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing that I tell also my followers. So parang, flirt lang. Hindi naman porket nilalandi ka niya, nilalandi mo siya, pang jowa na yan. Like, you should test the waters pa rin. Most especially if you're like the type na slow burn. Kasi when you develop expectations, a lot of times those expectations would be like, it would be not met. it would not be met, the expectations. So I think, yeah, if you're in this situation, flirt until you get satisfied, until you get like happy about it, but don't expect a lot kasi ikaw din yung mabibigo.
And I think in the context naman of like not rushing into things, but then you are interested in someone, then that's, I think, a boundary that you have to mention. That's something that you have to set. It's like, I really like where this is going. What's this? Just so you know, I don't really blah 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 until the blah 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 or something like that. Or like, as long as if you really want to like set the pace, then you can't let the other person just keep leading.
That's true.
Diba?
That makes sense.
So it's like it has to be. It's a it's a tennis game though. Like from one of like the dating coaches that I would see on Instagram. Parang it's a back and forth, but you can't just let one person lead. Parang there you have your own needs, your own preferences, like what Danny mentioned earlier also. So make sure that you're being heard.
Yeah.
Then. Diba? Yon. So, last two questions. Last two questions. 12:02.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I want to know because it's very prevalent in millennial dating. Ghosting. The ghostings in the Gen Z dating scene, do you see it as a norm or do you actually all still hate it as much as
I don't hate it kasi sorry pero naging ghoster na ako. Sorry. Pero kasi
in what stage? What stage? As
what
in
do you
like
mean?
still like just like talking stage or
Talking
like
stage.
Ayun.
You don't ghost a person if you like already have a like agreement now we're already exclusively dating. That's foul. Don't do that. But like when it comes to ghosting, that's where we lack, I think, the confrontation part. Because we can't tell them na parang, I'm so sorry, we're not on the same page. Sometimes you can't say it. But yeah, in terms of like hating it, I think I'd get that if ikaw yung nag-ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pero kung na-experience mo na rin yung situation, siguro na you kinda don't want to talk to the person anymore. I feel like you're gonna accept it more in a sense.
Because I feel like ghosting does have its uses. For example, if someone is just being so aggressive with you, but you have already expressed na I'm not interested. I feel like that would be a legitimate time for you to ghost. If you're also in talking stage,
that's true.
That's still an okay time to ghost. But again, if you have been dating a few times, not just one or two dates, as in like dating a few times, a month already, I feel it's courtesy.
Yeah, respect
for you to say na, I feel like I don't feel like pursuing this or something. I don't know. There are better words to use.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Lalo na kapag you've already developed this like connection for a period of time. Iba't ibang dates.
Yeah, for sure. And then so finally, since Christmas season na, baka some of you singles out there who are watching or listening on our socials, cooler months na, cuffing season din. So baka gusto nyo may Christmas date, gusto may New Year's kiss, ano ba? So can you come up with like at the top of your head maybe a holiday Landi
Holiday Landi tip. To be honest, holidays is the season talaga na parang, okay, this is my chance to shine. Kasi in holidays, you can like beso everybody, spread the Christmas spirit, hug whoever you want to hug. So that's where you apply the special treatment. You like, bye everybody, pero sa kanya, bye, beso, hug, Merry Christmas.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, if you're a family-oriented person, you can like ask them, do you want to go with me? I'm gonna buy gifts for my family.
That's
very
subtle.
cute.
Yeah.
That's very cute. So parang isipin niya, ano ba to? Friendly ba to? Gusto niya ba ako kasama lang? Naghahanap lang ba siya ng wala ba siyang mahanap na ibang friend kaya ako in-invite niya. But at the same time, during that specific date, I don't know, IKEA is a cute place. Kasi ang daming showrooms doon, right?
Yeah.
You can bring them there. Tapos parang,
pang Christmas shopping.
Iba pala, sorry. Family planning na yun. Iba. Basta yun.
it could be another idea, like maybe not Christmas related. Na
Yeah.
parang I have to buy house stuff. I don't know.
A house.
With you. Okay. Okay, I love how Landi this evening got actually. We
Oh, diba parang sa
succeeded.
tayo nag-crave for lunch?
Nilandian, diba? Di lang sa tayo.
Hindi. Yung nanonood. Hello.
Okay, so anyway, before we end the show, I would like Danny to take the floor to invite listeners, viewers on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch, and also on radio. Should you want to follow and get to know more Landi tips, where can they find you, Danny?
Okay, so you can find me everywhere. It's at Dani Buenvenida, DANIBUENVENIDA. I actually have a podcast. It's called Landian with Dani. So if you already know my TikTok, or if you don't, you can go to my TikTok at Dani Buenvenida. I give like a lot of Landi tips there. But if you want to know the stories behind the Landi tips, you can also visit my podcast.
So that's where the mga origin story.
Yeah, doon yung talaga malalaman saan ko siya nakuha. Kanino ko in-apply.
Or you change the names.
I don't mention the names.
You don't mention the names.
Magugulat na lang sila na parang,
Ay,
ako ba yun?
Okay. Well, anyway, thank you so much, Danny, for joining me
for
this
having
evening
me.
on Thursdays. It was so fun. And I think just in time for Christmas season, like we mentioned, if you need Landi tips, that's why I invited her at this time.
Smart.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials at RX931 everywhere, and catch me again next Thursday for another guest here on Heard on Thursdays. For now, keep it locked only here on The Monster. Bye!
Bye!
Monster exclusive interview. Monster exclusive interview. Only from Manila's hottest. Monster RX93.1.